Howdy dudes and dudettes and everyone in between. This video I decided to go down to Fly Point in Nelson Bay. You can see the scuba divers just behind me in that shot there. It's a marine park. There's heaps of fish around. People hand feed the fish and snorkel around, dive around them. So I thought I'd go and get some footage. It's just went off the edge of the rocks, and apart from getting the tether tangled up around the rocks and my feet when I was standing there in the shallow water, it was going alright for a little while, but there was a lot of snorkel traffic I was trying to avoid. There's some local brim. You'll see some snorkelers come past in the top of the screen shortly, and that's about where I decided to stop because they did tangle up in my tether, which floats along the surface behind me, and yeah, it just makes it awkward when I'm trying to watch the screen and navigate where I'm going, and at the same time you've got people swimming around above, and yeah. There's some of the snorkelers now at the top of the screen. So after packing up at Fly Point, I went down to Nelson Bay Marina, just off the rock wall near the Tea Gardens ferry. I've seen a few odds and ends sitting in the sand here. It's just murky sand on the bottom, but as you can see, a few little fish around here and there. There's always something lying on the bottom that people have thrown in. There's three young teenage boys there fishing. They're quite curious what I was doing and having a look at the ROV and stuff. Just cruising along the edge of the rock wall here, and as you can see, I pass over what looks like a pipe or something just there. Whatever it is, it's been there a long time. Activated the claw here. Go down and see if we can move it. Takes a bit of fine tuning just to get yourself right on top of it and get the right angle to pick it up, whatever it is. If we can pick it up, might be a bit heavy. Thrusters going hard there to try and drag it up off the bottom. Obviously stirring up all the silt and muck, and looks like a fishing rod. I can see an eyelet on it. So with it in the claw, I make my way up to the surface. As you can see, the water's getting cleaner and lighter towards the top. It was only about 4 or 5 meters deep, so it wasn't very deep. As I get to the surface, the teenage boys that were near me, I said I've got a fishing rod, and they were quite excited. They were starting to argue who was going to get it, not knowing how good it was or how long it had been there. And you'll see here it starts sort of jerking around near the surface. I'm sort of struggling to get it any further to the top, and it rips or falls out of the claw. The claw lets go. So back to square one. That's a big pylon there. sort of next to the big pylon on the edge of the jetty. So go down again, and it's just sitting there waiting to have another go. So we go in, bit of fine tuning. It's still got fishing line on it, you can see there. Wrong way, close, grab it, yep. Hasn't got a very good hold there. See the reel on the bottom of the screen there, hanging off the bottom. And we're working our way to the top again. You can see the rod tilting down, and it's gone again. It was about this point that I realised I think the line is actually snagged, because it still had line on it. I reckon the fishing rod was snagged, tied up, tangled up on something. Third time lucky, hopefully. I'd try and get it around the base of the rod so it might be more balanced and a bit of grip near the reel. And up we go again. And I think that was my third attempt, and it slipped out again, or got pulled out. So back down again to try and find it. It was getting murkier and murkier each time I went down, or each time it dropped off and sunk to the bottom. This time I'm trying to grab it around the shaft or the shank of the reel. And about now is when I was telling the boys fishing that they might have to jump in the water and grab it when I get it to the surface. So they got some scissors out of the tackle box to cut the line, which was definitely snagged somewhere. And I had a good grip of it here, and I'm pointing straight up with the claw, so it basically was going to bring that part of the rod right out of the water. Which we're at the surface now. So it's basically sticking out of the water, and you can see the boy's hand there, he grabs it. I release it, and there they go. They got themselves a fishing rod, which was pretty badly corroded. It had been there a long time, so it had ended up going into the rubbish bin, I think. That was pretty much enough excitement for the day. So, taking it out of the water, head up the rocks, and pack up.